This may very well confirm Quant with Zebec and JPMorgan. Consider smash that like. You're definitely going to want to hear all the information presented in this outline. Let's jump right to it. First is from the Quant network. A lot of people have covered the whole thing of Quant and Xero. I will go further. So you may have never seen this anywhere, and if anything, it's going to make a lot of sense. So for one, what does the Quant network have? Well, it's this call to action, and it is all worth pointing out. So for one, it says, attention UK users. This was at the time with the Xero users, I should say, as an Xero. Black Friday, of course, has came to pass, but they made a disclaimer that they're giving them all a one-day only offer you won't want to miss. Still processing payments by hand, moving tax funds manually, or juggling multiple bank accounts, there's a smarter way. Well, long story short, they get into the whole thing of quant flow and how it connects directly with what is referred to as Xero to automate the finance tasks that eat up your time. And it's impressive to see this because, again, they share the whole thing that you can have this quant flow experience. Setup takes under an hour, so on and so forth, right? No new software. Again, kind of like the whole idea of blockchain agnostic, no coding, right? We know that with overledger, there's no coding when it comes to Zapier. There's no coding when it comes to the whole thing of specifically make.com, so on and so forth. And then Pipedream, there's 3 lines of code, right? But all these things are always worth pointing out. Now, you may be wondering, like, okay, that's automation. Again, Quant Flow, the money engine. They posted this just a few days ago. I decided to get further into this, and I pulled up this as well, which is from myquantflow.com, and it says automate your Xero payments for example, £1, right? Or in this case, might very well be €1, okay? Connect your bank, Xero, simple rules, let QuantFlow handle and do it all, right? And if anything, you see here the dashboard, how it all comes together. And I thought to myself, well, this is QuantFlow with obviously what you're seeing with Xero. And I think Xero is a big deal. So I decided to go further into this because I said to myself, the whole idea of automated payables orchestration, real-time tax provisioning, all this stuff kind of screamed what Zebec is doing in regard to like payroll and basically accounts payable and all these things that we talk about for quite some time. So I got further into it. I found out recently that, of course, Overledger does have support and integration with Xero. And again, the making of invoices, the making of obviously smart contracts to execute all these things, to deploy tokens, you name it, right? All with pipedream.com. And I've done these examples numerous times. I decided to go more further into it all. And of course, as you guys know, I do that. If you're new to this channel, this is something I do. I went to Xero.com and I saw here that there's over 4.2 million subscribers that use Xero. And again, these are things that we want to see when it comes to API integrations. And again, this interoperability moving forward for anything and everything. Again, automate pesky admin tasks, integrate with over 1,000 apps, get back to what you love, right? Try Xero for free. And again, why would Quant Network want to make such a pitch to somebody like Xero? Well, apparently Xero is bigger than we think. And when I got further into it, I decided to get more into, for example, the specifics, like some of their partners and whatnot. And I want to obviously elaborate more into that. And here, in my opinion, is the smoking gun with Zebec. We know that Zebec has a key partnership with with ADP. We know that Simon Babakani has definitely shared this numerous times on Zebec, zbcn, X Spaces. If you don't know about ADP and Zebec by now, then really you haven't done enough research. I said that politely, but notice the key thing here, which again I think is a smoking gun, of you have this thing called Run powered by ADP, and you have the Xero App Store, which has this specifically, like it says, from AI-powered payroll error detection to 24/7 support. Run powered by ADP, payroll, and HR. Small businesses are ready for whatever comes next. Streamline your system with easy general ledger mapping for pushing payroll transactions from Run or Accountant Connect to, of course, Xero. Again, it works with Xero, all right? And again, get more into it. It's like, look at this overview. With Run powered by ADP, you get faster, easier, more reliable payroll and HR solutions designed for all types of businesses. Pay your people in minutes and manage them with our technology-driven HR tools. Gain hiring advantage, again, so on and so forth. Even some of these AI-powered error detection tools. And again, I think that's important to point out. You're more than welcome to check out this video. It just kind of demos what the product is. But when I got more into it, I said to myself, yeah, this all makes sense. This is all about what we confirmed in the past: overledger, ADP, obviously ADP to what you see here with Xero, right? And again, these things are so important to get out to the public before they understand the bigger picture, not just a quant, not just a Zebec, but like a interconnected world to a sense. Now, this publication was from cpapracticeadvisor.com, and this was published October 15th. And this is another key area I want to get more deeper into with the research. We see here from Xero that they completed an acquisition of payments platform Melio for $2.5 billion. If you're not aware of it, Melio is a SMB bill pay platform that integrates accounting and payments, offering SMBs and their accountants and bookkeepers easy to use accounts payable workflows. Again, think about Quant's new product of Quant Flow. It's all about automation moving forward. Another thing I want to highlight is that Xero Limited completed its acquisition of Melio Payments for $2.5 billion from Matan Bar Ziv Paz, Island Atias Bessemer Aleph, and Koshut as of October 15th. Plan of the acquisition was first announced June 2025, last summer. And again, you see here where it mentions the consideration and acquisition. And again, for consisting of cash payment and those shares. And it was valued at $360 million on a debt-free cash basis. That's important. Additional contingent consideration, deferrals, and rollovers are payable to Melio employees of up to $500 million payable over the next 3 years. All right, so there's a lot of information here. All right, take you further into this. Melio, if you were to go to their site, which is called go.meliopayments.com, you will see here specifically some of the people who they are partnered up with. And before we get into that, like it says, pay and get paid, your way payment workflow, made smarter. Pay vendors with Melio by automated clearinghouse, bank transfer, card, or expedited payments by your choice. Now, again, down here, you see Evolve, JPMorgan, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, American Express, Diners Club, and so on. We're going to focus on JPMorgan for this outline. You're going to find out why this is so big. So for one, you're going to also see here, specifically speaking, some more key insight. So for one, what is it all about? Well, like it says, why pay bills Melio? Hold on to cash longer, pay by card, defer payments, et cetera, et cetera. You see the MasterCard logo here, so you see the key connections. Now, when I look further into this, I said to myself, this is interesting because when you click on some of the stuff from Melio, it leads you to this other publication that takes you over to Haaretz. And in the findings recently, we see here Israeli CEO who sold a company for $2.5 billion. Like he says, I didn't even know what my stake was. And it points out Melio became Israel's biggest fintech exit at $2.5 billion. And it says here, I see startups as a sport. I want to win, says Melio CEO Matan Bar, who pocketed $140 million in the deal. All right. Where are we really going with this? Well, here's where we're really going with this. Quant Network, a while back, of course, as we know, has had ties to the Digital Pound Foundation, and they still have a good working relationship with them and so on. Gilbert Verdian used to be part of them, and then he, basically signed off on a good mark. But it says Fireblocks among 14 companies chosen for, as you see here, Bank of Israel Digital Shekel CBDC Challenge. This, of course, was posted July 24, 2024, but it says the Bank of Israel did announce that whole digital shekel, ambitious CBDC experiment inspired by Project Roslyn, joint project Bank of England, and, of course, the Bank for International Settlements, as you see right here for the BIS. Challenge at the time was to aim to explore potential applications for a digital shekel system, garnering widespread interest from the fintech and finance communities, both within Israel and internationally. All right. What's important to also recognize is that the Bank of Israel at the time formed an internal committee to evaluate the proposals based on several criteria: innovation and the proposed use case alignment with the needs of the digital, or I should say the Israeli economy, support for the motivations behind a potential digital shekel issuance, and look at this, effective use of API functionality. Don't forget about that part about API functionality. Here's why. We take you over to this site, which is specifically CoinJournal. They point out UK Finance launches pilot for tokenized sterling deposits. Now, a lot of us know about some of this, but whatever the case be, I want to highlight these two things because UK Finance launching the Great Britain TD pilot with 6 banks to test tokenized sterling deposits until 2026, that is major. We do see Quant Network listed, like it says, to power digital pound pilot, exploring payments, remortgaging, and bond settlement. And more importantly, As we also know, Quant Network is a UK-based blockchain interoperability company, provide the underlying infrastructure for the project. And of course, the whole thing of the RLN, as in the Regulated Liability Network. And of course, like you also see here, some banks and institutions were part of that, such as Citi, MasterCard, Standard Chartered, Virgin Money, and Visa. And again, Quant Network to build the infrastructure. Now watch this. Taking a little bit further into this, again, I want to point out something that's very, very important in regard to NatWest. We always highlight, for example, Santander, obviously HSBC, but not a lot of talk enough, I should say, about NatWest. The initiative announced in regard to the publication, like it says Friday, was being developed with 6 major banks: Barclays, HSBC, Lloyds Banking Group, NatWest, Nationwide, Santander. Most of these ones are also Ripple XRP partners, right? Now, again, NatWest, why point them out so much? Well, what's interesting is if you were to go over to places like xpmarket.com, which is an actual DEX, right? You see nothing happening here at all, like pretty much zero. But what is this? Well, this is a DEX. This is a bank that has a pairing with XRP. And I'm telling you flat out, there is something going on here in the background that people are not aware of. For one, it's the pairings. Why enable pairings if you're not going to use the collateral for the underlying asset? In this case, real world asset tokenization. And this is just one example of many for the future. Now, also taking you into a little bit more of the findings, just in case if you're not aware of it, straight from stocktitan.net, they point out recently, yes, recently, just like not that long ago, Bank of England stress test, yes, stress test shows NatWest staying well above capital and leverage hurdles. And like it says here, Bank of England's 2025 stress test models a severe downturn and tracks how NatWest Group's capital would behave relative to regulatory minima. In this scenario, the low point common equity tier 1 ratio is 11.1% versus an actual 13.6% at December 2024, and low point tier 1 leverage ratio is 4.7% versus actual 5% same day. Both stress ratios remained significantly ahead of the stress minimum requirement, and the results indicate that no strategic management actions would have to be required to protect capital. All right. Now, again, why point any of this out? Well, for one, I decided to get more further into this. And I said to myself, basically speaking, I want to find out more information specifically with documents. Okay. So, for one, we know, even on a simple Grok search, that the Quant network had a press release selected for GBTD infrastructure. That was September 26, 2025. But if anything, let's show you actual documentation other than just the Grok conversation. Here's an actual PDF that shows UK Finance RLN summary report. Again, what's important here is NatWest. How so? Well, we see here forward buy, and they were one of the participants. Again, with all those other ones we just talked about, Barclays, Citi, HSBC, MasterCard, and so on, we see NatWest, Nationwide, Santander, et cetera, et cetera. But what about, like, for example, Quant Network? Great question. As we see here also, on page 10 of 22 of the PDF, you see here the firms involved in the experimentation phase were Barclays, Citi, HSBC, Lloyds Banking Group, MasterCard, NatWest, Nationwide, Santander, Standard Chartered, Virgin Money, and Visa. They were supported by EY, Linklaters, and a technology team of R3, Quant, DXC, and Cojoot. By the way, DXC, if you guys aren't aware of it, the original, I should say, the culprit of Gilbert Verdi and his mentor, he started DXC. There's a video I did on that a while back, maybe like a couple of years ago. But it's always interesting to see all of this, right? Again, request for proposal, RFP process. But again, Quant there, and of course, NatWest. Again, taking it back to a little bit more towards the present, we see that Quant Network was in fact selected to deliver infrastructure for UK's tokenized sterling deposits project. So again, that's for sterling deposits with UK. But again, when we saw more information about it all, well, we also saw here Bank of Israel and the whole thing of API functionality. And again, you can see how quickly this all came to be on numerous occasions. That's also worth pointing out, is it not? Well, of course it is. And this is where it gets really, really super interesting, because we did talk about JPMorgan. US Bank recently, as of September 4th, pointed out this publication that I don't think most people have seen. It says US Bank launches all-in-one cash flow management platform. Think about that. Think about an all-in-one cash flow management platform. Think about Quant Network with with programmable cash, right? The infrastructure for programmable money, programmable cash. But again, they're product of Quant Flow, platform for small businesses, okay? And what we see here is also interesting. It says at the time, They announced a powerful all-in-one cash flow management platform, so think about that, for small businesses, providing a comprehensive accounts payable solution with streamlined cash flow management, enhanced bill pay capabilities with industry-leading flexible payment options, and the ability to easily sync with accounting software. So again, back with what we were talking about in regard to Zebec, et cetera, you can have an idea of how this is all going to come together. Some people say, well, it doesn't confirm this, but again, keep in mind non-disclosure agreements. Look what it also says, seamlessly integrate into the US Bank online banking platform. Well, no kidding, it's literally called US Bank, accounts payable solution, et cetera, et cetera. Now, on this part, I said to myself, there has to be something more of a smoking gun here. It says here, for example, a single solution to manage payments and maintain records in all in one place within the existing business banking dashboard. Okay, streamline workflows, vendor invoices, again, et cetera, et cetera. When I pulled up more about this, well, what did I find out here? Remember how we just talked about Melio? Look what it says here. It says here, when you get further into it, US Bank collaborated with two fintechs to bring the solution to life, integrating Fiserv's Cash Flow Central solution, which is built in partnership with Melio within the US Bank online banking platform. That's incredibly important because Fiserv, if we're not aware of, is a proud partner to the US Bank, and they provide essential payments capability to small business community, empowering them to operate their business more efficiently with less complexity. And again, Cash Flow Central is an end-to-end solution that helps power the bank's central hub for all payment and banking needs, deepening their relationships with their valued small business customers. Okay, so again, Melio. Okay, that's all worth pointing out, is it not? Well, of course it is. Well, this is where something else came to my attention. For one, I said to myself, I want to get into the whole thing of this company that I discovered, basically speaking, uh, that is referred to as ClickBank. And when I saw that, I said to myself, doesn't ClickBank have a tie to JPMorgan? Well, you guys may have not seen this, but again, look at the documentation. JPMorgan.com this time is the link that we're on. And basically speaking, you see here specifically this announcement. ClickBank improves simplicity and transparency of cross-border payments on its e-commerce platform. Now watch this. It says the challenge. To help sellers and affiliates grow in new markets and close sales, ClickBank wanted to simplify its ability to accept cross-border payments. The ClickBank platform used separate merchant and foreign exchange APIs on the back end. Well, what platform would be on that back end for APIs? Think about that, which increased manual work and reconciliation effort, right? Another thing it gets into, it says increase efficiency through single API connection. Isn't that by definition what Quant's overledger does? I would say so. Of course I would say so. And again, here in my opinion is the smoking gun to it all. Because when we get further into this, well, basically, as I always point out, boil it, mash it, stick it in a stew. Why so? Because when we point things out, well, basically, all of it gets incredibly interesting because we find out the key integrations with things like, for example, Zapier. And what do we have here from Zapier? We have this specifically about basically ClickBank. And as you see right here, there it is, ClickBank. That is profound because it says here, connect ClickBank and Overledger to power AI-driven automation. This is the ClickBank that we're talking about. And basically speaking, like it says here, choose the trigger events, choose the actions with the Overledger, choose the, for example, the app, et cetera, et cetera. And again, think about this. Trigger event that starts with Zap like rebill from ClickBank. And again, Zapier seamlessly connects ClickBank and Overledger, automating your workflow. Again, those terms, the flow of how it all works. I've been dying for the longest time to share with you guys some key information in regard to JP Morgan and the Quant network. I wish I could just show you one key document, but it is what it is. I'm going to share what's available. And I think you're going to hear more and more information in the future, specifically about Quant, obviously Zebec, and again, JP Morgan. So I covered numerous times Quant and Zebec. In my opinion, some key research with that. And again, also the ones with JP Morgan. I'll throw up a couple end-screen cards to take you further into those outlines. But I did think this was very, very important. And basically, that wraps it up. So do me a solid if you listen to the entire outline and type in this key phrase or word into the comments, and that is ClickBank. And I'll know that you listen to the entire outline. So the saying goes, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD. 110%. May the Lord Jesus bless you all. I truly mean that. We'll see you guys on the next one. Over and out.
after these messages. We'll be right back.
I have many friends that are earning every single day trading futures on BTCC. It's a simple process, and even if you don't want to learn how to trade, you could follow a trader on the site and let him do the trading for you. And again, I'm not trying to have any of you guys use your hard-earned money to lose anything. You don't know what you're doing? Don't jump into this, but there is money to be made, and don't use your nest egg for leverage trading. Use a separate portfolio. But I suggest learn how to trade. Earn you some extra money on BTCC. It's easy. You don't have to KYC, and you don't have to use a virtual private network VPN. This is a wonderful site. They've been around since 2011. Give them a shot. Also, when you earn that extra money, you can store that on your Decent wallet. The Decent wallet was not affected by the XRPL debacle, where the backdoor of many wallets was open and there was a breach. So Decent wallet was not affected by that. Decent wallet is as safe as you keep your seed phrase. It's a wonderful product, and you can get the discount by using the link. It's the only way to get the affiliate discount, and that is to use an affiliate link. So that link is popping up on the upper right side of your screen, and it is the one that you will use. You will also get free shipping. Pick you up a Decent wallet today. Secure your assets. If you don't have them stored in a wallet and sitting on an exchange, then you're at risk. So pick you one up today. Thank you.